Now back to the Galaxy Quest 20th Anniversary Special. Though a household name now, Galaxy Quest originated from humble beginnings. It was September 1979 when the original crew took off from this site. Now the studio is just a memory. But though the birthplace of the show is no longer with us, the series seems to live on in the minds of many fans who just can't get enough of Galaxy Quest.
I need a miracle. The last episode, please, somebody. That's my only one I'm missing. Woo!
Several times a year, the Questarians, as they like to be called, flock to the conventions like this one to reminisce about the show.
It forced us to ask some very probing questions about ourselves and put it in a meaningful context.
From all over the country they come, many of them searching for memorabilia, anything to keep the memory of the show alive.
Items there. We got the magazines, we got the mugs, we got the nebulizers.
Oh my God, to see Gwen DeMarco. I've been waiting so long for this. I'm so excited. I can't believe it.
If they're lucky, they'll even get to meet the former stars of the show, who have become the main attractions of the sci-fi convention circuit.
I styled my hair after her. You know, I go everywhere just like thinking about her.
But to fully understand how the show has become what it is today, we must journey back more than 20 years ago when it was just an idea in the imagination of Frank Ross, the legendary creator of the show.
Most people don't know this, but Galaxy Quest was originally going to be a Western. It was called West Quest.
That was the original idea that he took the network, was a Western. And there was those of us, I mean, we were the same characters, we were just, walking around in chaps,
Well, we'd already shot the pilot when our research people came to us and said, Westerns are out.
And he went, and that's how stuff happens in TV. He goes, yes! And we put it right away. It went to a Navy show.
I very quickly rewrote the script and made it about Navy SEALs. It's called Navy Quest.
And I said, how funny is this that we're in an old ship and there's no war, Frank?
But there was one problem. The studio was going into bankruptcy, and they couldn't come up with the money. But they did have a lot of props and things lying around from an old space movie they had made.
Boom, all of a sudden Frank goes, hey, I got a space.
It's a spaceship.
Space.
But still, it flies.
Help me with this. I said, well, space. How about space? So I think I'd like to do with it. He said, space.
Voila, Galaxy Quest.
Obviously, the cast of the show was an integral part of the series' success. But ironically, Jason Nesmith, who played the commander, almost didn't get the role.
We had an A-list and a B-list and a C-list, and just about everybody in town turned it down. I decided we needed someone who was a relatively unknown. In other words, somebody who was desperate.
Yes, I had the reoccurring role on that really lame sitcom. I think we all remember Hello, Neighbor. You remember the joke of the show is that you never saw me from the neck down?
And from there, he became part of the now legendary crew of Galaxy Quest.
You want to know the truth? I was never actually asked to audition for Galaxy Quest. They wanted a younger guy. I was on the lot auditioning for Ordinary People. Redford and I are like this.
Nesmith mistakenly walked into the Galaxy Quest casting director's office and began reading a scene from Ordinary People.
Come on, Conrad, just let it out. That kind of stuff. We were halfway into the first season before I realized that I wasn't doing Ordinary People.
Well, Jason's all right. He's just kind of likes himself.
I think he's wonderful. I don't think every show has to be about him. And I think sometimes he doesn't realize that.
Let's face it, I was carrying the show. The weight of the show was on my shoulders.
Well, I think it depends on who you ask. As far as I'm concerned, I've fed up with him. He seems very inconsiderate, but I have been really in love with him. I think we were engaged for a while, and I think I keep trying to start my life over, but I keep being thrown together with this guy.
Jason was like a father figure. It was a lot of fun, watching him and doing things, and we went fishing a lot of times and stuff like that. A few times he tried to use me for bait.
He's changed. He's become a much better guy over the years. He was very, very difficult to work with towards the end of the series. As his difficulty in finding work increased, it seemed that he became a better human being. And now he's really come around and found himself, and he's a lovely guy to be with.
It's 2 words there. It's Tony Robbins. And he and I are just like this.
Pivotal to the series' success was the casting of Tawny Madison, the ship's only female crew member. Rumors circulated that Frank Ross wanted to hire his Swedish secretary.
Lunga, a terrible actress.
Eventually, the network talked him out of it, and the role was given to Gwen DeMarco, an actress known for a number of low-budget films.
She's always been a pleasure, Gwen. She's been very humble and has been a hard-working actress.
Hard-working? All she had to do is repeat what the computer said when it was working.
Systems register functional.
All systems are working, Commander.
I translate this very technical jargon into language that my crew and the public can understand. So I'm really putting everything into that.
Well, you know, she did the show initially. She'd been asked to do a small part in a Woody Allen movie, and it was either that or the TV series. And, you know, some people would say that maybe she begrudges the decision she made.
Well, if I'd done that Woody Allen movie, even if it was one line, would that have changed my life?
You're picking between, you know, who would have thought Annie Hall would have done that well, or, you know, repeat the computer. You know, it looked as though, you know, our show was it was a good choice at the time, you know.
When it came time to cast the role of the alien, Dr. Lazarus, the producers turned to Alexander Dane, an accomplished Shakespearean actor.
He was the embodiment of the true thespian, and still is.
Oh, he's a real pro. You know, he's always very disciplined, but he does wonderful, simple things with his character that make a big difference, you know.
He's an actor. He's not an actor like you are here. It's an actor. You have to do it like this, an actor. Because he went to Luger Hagenbau's school or something. He was very, very into his method.
Well, I had come to Los Angeles having been in a successful television show in England, and I came over because my agent at the time thought it would be a good idea to see what was perhaps on offer over here. And there was a possibility of bringing a very successful play that I'd been doing in London as well. That didn't quite work out, but I'm still hoping that I might be able to get that up and running. Somewhere in there I went along for an audition for Galaxy Quest, and I got the role.
I played Richard III.
5 curtain calls.
There were 5 curtain calls. I was an actor once. Damn it, now look at me. Look at me!
He was this very elegant British actor who now is forced to wear a plastic head, a rubber head, and spend time at these conventions, but he still carries a certain dignity with him.
I don't mean to get too much into it. It's just that sometimes this, you know, motherland stuff, after a while, better actors and pip pip hurrah and all that kind of stuff, and hello, all right, and it always seems like he's got a better mood. And it's not like there's bad blood, there's just blood between us, you know.
How are you and Jason getting along?
Very well.
Is there any competition?
No.
Is everyone happy?
I'm delirious.
And we've gotten over all this. You know, we went to, you know, actor counseling sessions, the two of us. They have this whole, it's kind of set up on the 12-step thing, you know, and you got to turn it over to the other actor, and you got to, you know, it got tough there for a while, but only because I don't like British sports cars, and that's basically where it started.
It's lovely. You have to embrace certain people's qualities, and his pomposity is something we've grown to love. He gets a little testy still, but you know, what do you expect? He's English.
You broke the ship. You broke the bloody ship.
Rounding out the cast were Fred Kwan as the show's Tech Sergeant Chen, and Tommy Weber, who played the ship's 10-year-old crack gunner and navigator, Lieutenant Laredo.
Oh, he was a good kid. I think I ate too much sugar or something. I don't know. And we didn't have much ventilation there.
I shut the set down because I faked a headache. So, you know, being a little boy, they don't know what's wrong with me. Shut the set down for like 2 hours.
Who knows? Coffee and caffeine. I don't touch him myself, but the kid was a great kid, though. Great kid. You know, when he didn't have a headache.
With the cast finally assembled, Galaxy Quest went into production and began its journey. When we return, we'll see how Galaxy Quest was launched.